Welcome to Midweek Experiments in Faithfulness. This is a weekly facilitated spiritual practice with a Quaker flavor and an experimental ethos. My name is Lahari Indraganti, and I'm a program fellow here at the Beacon Hill Friends House, which is a Quaker Center for Learning and Action and a residential community of about 20 people who live according to Quaker values. Tonight, we have Kat Green with the practice Sites of Memory, a Guided Meditation. I am so excited for this practice. Memory is powerful. It can transport us back in time for better or for worse. Memory has a complicated relationship to physical space. At times, the two can seem so intertwined as to be inseparable, and other times we can lose all sense of the relationship between the two. In a meditation that borrows from the historical field of memory studies, we'll explore sites of memory in our own lives. Kat Green is a Boston-based writer with a focus on history, memory, gender, and religion. They are a flash fiction editor at Jake and a reader at Abode Press. Their work has been published in a number of small presses, and they are a 2023 Best of Net nominee. You can connect with Kat at cmgreenwrites.com. Again, welcome. We're really glad you decided to join us tonight. Kat, it's all yours.
So sites of memory is what I call this practice because sites of memory, or lieu de mémoire, pardon my French, is a historical term coined by the historian Pierre Nora in, I think, the 70s or 80s. And Pierre Nora says a lieu de mémoire is any significant entity, whether material or non-material in nature, which by dint of human will or the work of time has become a symbolic element of the memorial heritage of any community. So what does that mean? Well, when you think about places, think about our own country. We have places that are sites of memory, like the Vietnam War Memorial. This was built specifically to memorialize an event, right? We also have sites of memory that pop up in less expected ways, and you can think of informal memorials, you can think of street memorials, things like that. I'm going to give a few examples in a minute. But the point of it is, these are places, physical locations, that not because of what they are in themselves, but because of human will, right? Because people have decided, consciously or unconsciously, they are symbolic. They hold our memorial heritage. And when we think about sites of memory, and we think about memory studies in general, which is a historical field, there are a couple different kinds of memory that we think of. So there's a collective memory. And this is, for example, the ways that we as a society remember the Civil War, right? And collective memory is different in different places. So in somewhere like Massachusetts, our memory of the Civil War is very different than it might be in somewhere like Alabama. There's official memory, and this is more or less how the state, the government, proffers memory. The official narratives that you might find in a textbook, that you might find in speeches, that are how the official government entities want things to be remembered. And you can think of this as, politicians very often draw on the legacy of the, so-called founding fathers. That's a way of asserting official memory. But then there's also individual memory, right? And that is what every one of us carries about historical events. So, for example, most notably in the last 25 years, you probably think about 9/11. Most people of a certain age have a distinctive individual memory of 9/11. There's also the official memory of 9/11, which goes into things like the war that the U.S. perpetrated, this narrative behind that. And then there's the collective memory of 9/11, which is kind of different from both of those, but involves both of them as well. So in short, memory studies, and using memory in history is incredibly complicated. And we think of sites, physical locations, as just one part of that. I'm going to go through a couple examples. So the National Memorial for Peace and Justice is memorial for several things, but this part of it that I'm showing you is a memorial for hundreds of Black people who were lynched in the South. And as you can see, it's a space that was created to preserve a sense of memory, to memorialize individuals who were mistreated and abused in their time, and give them a sense of the memorialization. It is officially constructed, and as you can see, it is very intentional. It is intentionally telling a story about history, but it is a physical location that evokes memory. And then you have something quite different, like a street memorial for Anna Politkovskaya, who's a Russian journalist who was killed, likely by the Putin regime. The place where she was killed, people put posters, people put her portrait, people put candles. This is a very sort of ad hoc sort of site of memory. It is still a physical location where people come to remember, but it's very different than an intentional memorial. And with these things in mind, we're thinking about memory, we're thinking about sites of memory and physical location. I want us to pause and transition into thinking about how we experience memory. And this is going to lead into a pair of meditations in a few minutes, but I think it's important to acknowledge a few things first, that memory can be tricky, memory can be difficult. And if at any point in this meditation you find yourself remembering something that is causing you alarm or that is hurtful to remember, you can ground yourself in where you are now. You can use your senses to remember that you are safe, you are in your home or wherever else you might be, you are in the present and you are not in the past. But all that to say, I'm going to lead us now in a pair of meditations. And the first one is going to be a little more historical, and the second one is going to be a little more personal. So I would love everyone to get comfortable. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if that is helpful to you. And I want you to consider a historical event. It can be something you've studied, something you've lived through, something you've heard about from family. You can consider it in the context of the different types of memory that we discussed earlier, collective, official, and personal. Think of a historical event that you'd like to focus on this evening. Now, I want you to picture a physical location associated with this event. Again, it can be somewhere you've been, or it can be something you construct. For example, if I'm thinking about the 2017 attacks in Charlottesville, I can imagine a street where the protests were, or I can imagine a memorial that doesn't yet exist. So imagine a physical location associated with this historical event. And I want you to think about first what you see. If you look around, what do you see around you? What sort of materials are around you? What colors are around you? What does it look like? What do you hear? Are there voices? Is there music? A breeze? What do you smell, if anything? Are you outside or are you inside? How does it smell? hot? Is it cold? Are you touching stone? Are you touching leaves? Take a few breaths. Just be present in this location you are imagining. What is it important to remember about this event? Why are you here? This place? And what do you need to remember? How does this location help memorialize this? Let it out. Your eyes open if they're closed. Return to the present. Be where you are. In order to move into second meditation. This is about individual memory. This is the heart, I think, of what this practice can do. You need to consider an event in your own life, something you've been through, a conversation you had, a situation you've been in. Think of an event that you'd like to consider. Picture physical location that you associate with this event. Maybe it's your kitchen growing up, maybe it's a classroom, it's your apartment, your workplace, whatever it is. Pick a location that you associate with that memory. Take a few breaths, close your eyes if that helps, to return to that place. Look around you in that place. What do you see? Take moments to catalog the sights around you, sensory details. This includes other people that might be in that space with you. Who else is there with you? You hear this space, what sounds rise, voices that might be familiar, music, birds outside. Whatever it is, focus now on what it is that you're hearing in this place. Sense might be around things that you haven't thought of in a long time. What do you feel physically? What do you feel in your body in this place? Does this place relax you or make you tense? Tense, where are you tense? What is important to remember the events that occur in this place? Things you do not want to forget. Memories does this physical location bring up for you? Feel yourself in this space. Memories. Present in that place for a few more breaths. And slowly return to the present. Return to midweek, return to Wednesday, or whatever day it is that you're watching this. Moment to feel yourself in your body, where you are and what you are now. Back to the present.